Southern California, and Center for Nonprofit Management. He's a past board member of ICF LA, and he's the immediate past global chair of the International Coach Federation. It is such a privilege that he is with us this evening and has answered the call from all of us who have said, I need some help building my coaching business. Please bring someone in. And we didn't bring just someone in. We brought in Damian Goldvarg. Damian.
Okay, can you hear me? Let's see.
Hang on, try again.
Okay, is that working?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, hi. Hi. It's great being here. Here there are many important people. For me, I have some close friends, some colleagues, some students from my programs. So I want to thank you for coming and supporting me, and for your friendship, for your love. This is my community. I started here in ICF LA many years ago, and I started signing up people like they are the membership people at the gym. This is my job. That was my job. I started helping people because I was told that that's a good way to get to know people. And it was. And the following year, and I'm so glad that Keith, you're here today. Keith was ICF LA president in 2009. And during that year was the year that I was a board member. I have a story to share that I will keep for later about that year. And then one thing to another, and I ended up being involved in the global board of director of ICF. This is my 6th year. So it's a lot of work, all volunteer work, that I have done with a lot of enthusiasm. And I still have energy to be here today and to keep doing work, because I am, as people know me, I'm very passionate. I am very passionate about coaching. I am so passionate that I got everybody in my family to go through coaching training. My parents, my brothers, my sister-in-law, everybody went through coaching training, because I do believe that coaching makes a difference in people's lives. I have seen it with my clients. I have seen how when you work with people and there is a difference in their life, that have a ripple effect in their communities, in their families, in their systems. So one of the challenges that I have observed as a chair of ICF and as a board member, and having the opportunity to visit many countries and many chapters all over the years, is that many coaches, after they go through coaching training, they have struggles in developing their businesses. And I know that the only way for coaching as a profession to keep growing and developing is if the people who go through coaching training can be successful as coaches. So when Ginny asked me if I knew anybody, I said, okay, this is in my heart. I really want to support coaches to be successful coaches' practices, but not from the perspective of a marketing person, because I am not. So what I'm going to share is the coaching perspective. How do you apply the coaching perspective to be an opportunity, be a possibility for your clients? So what we're going to do tonight is going to be to look at ourselves and to see what is in our way to be as great as we can, to be a possibility for other people. How does it sound? Yes. Sounds good? Yes. Are you ready to work? Yes. Yeah, because I am not going to be lecturing much here. I am going to make you work. Here we're going to work in small groups. And my goal for the end of the session is that you come up with a plan. And some of you are starting, some of you are students. I want to thank the students from my programs at USC and at the Center for Nonprofit Management who are here today. Some of you are just starting, some of you have been for years coaching, like my friend Harriet, who, don't be shy, Harriet is one of the first MCCs in the world. And she has been forever, and I make a difference. Here in ICF LA meetings, we were sitting together like you are there, and then suddenly you never know, well, the person who's next to you can become a very close friend. Like many people like Davia or Harriet and other people that you develop relationship. Most of the time my experience is coaches, doesn't matter where you go, are loving people. Are people who really care about other people. So like I belong to different associations, and always my favorite one is ICF and being coaches. So the invitation for tonight is also to get to know other people here and have that as a goal, because you never know how your colleague can become a friend or even a supporter, or even I have referred work to colleagues and I have received work from colleagues. So this is not the first and the most important reason why you come here, because most of the time if you want to get clients, you will not find them here. What you will find here are the opportunity of network, and sometimes your colleagues may refer you client. That's a possibility. But many times the best places to go is where our clients are. So the best places for networking where our clients are together. So with that in mind, I want to share with you briefly that when I came to this country 25 years ago, didn't speak English, $400 in my pocket, I had to start from zero. So I have a family here who helped me, so I was not homeless. But still, I had to do a lot of work, and I had to work very hard to learn the language, to develop myself. And I'm sharing this because I work very hard, and I think if I did it, I think anybody can do it. So what requires is just what I would say my secret, what that has worked for me. So what I did is I wrote a book about it in Spanish. Unfortunately, people who don't speak Spanish will not know. It's called Paso para el Éxito. So in this book, I wrote, and I self-published it, that was my first book, I wrote what helped me to be successful. And my first niche, and we're going to be talking about niche today, were Latinos, immigrants like me. People who had to struggle, who didn't have resources, who didn't speak English, and had to find strategies to be successful. So that was my first niche, and I focused on how to provide how to make a difference and how to provide a service to this specific community that I was part of. So that was my first niche, and I'm sharing this because there are 4 elements that I want you to pay attention to, what helped me, and I want to invite you to consider that in working in your plan, what we're going to be doing today. One key element is clear vision. Is where are you going? So that is very important. What do you want to accomplish? If you can to visualize yourself being a successful coach, or having a successful practice, or even being more successful, or whatever it is, because you're at different places today. So wherever you are, what is next for you? What is your vision for your next step? That is the first step. The second is a lot of work, hard work. Like I had to work very hard. Like even when I went to school here for 6 years, I went to Calister Northridge, and I get a master's in counseling, and then I went to Alliance University, and I got the second master's and a PhD in organizational psychology. And for 6 years, I was going to school full-time and working full-time. And all of the work that I was doing was in the AIDS community. I worked for AIDS Project Los Angeles. I ran a pediatric AIDS network program. And there what I learned is, when you're working with people dealing with life and death, you really pay attention to what is important in life. And I think that makes a difference in who I am today, who I am as a coach, who I am as a presenter, who we are is in part some of the experiences that we brought with us. So that's being clear about what's really important makes a big difference in who you are and how you present yourself. Somebody said before, Diane, when you introduce yourself in marketing or in selling yourself, who you are being is what is going to make a difference. So tonight, it's not about doing, but it's about being. Are you with me here?
Yes.
So I am going to share with you many strategies, but it's not what you do. And I'm going to share with you a lot of things that you can do. But who you are being when you're doing the things is what makes a difference. We were having dinner with Harriet a couple of weeks ago, and Harriet is a mentor coach in the program that I am teaching at USC, and somewhere else, at Kaiser Permanente. And when we were talking about the differences in mentor coaching and the importance of following ICF core competencies, and how we follow competency by competency about the doing. But in coaching, the doing is important, but the being is what is more important. It's the relationship that we have with our clients. So it's about learning the competencies, demonstrating them, but then letting them go and start focusing on the being. And in marketing, it's the same thing as in coaching. It's knowing that there are some strategies, we're going to be covering them, but at the end of the day, it's who you are being when you are relating and communicating and presenting and working with your clients or future ideal clients. And the third one, once that you have a clear vision and you do a lot of work, is a plan, having a plan in place. Having a clear plan about what you're going to be doing and getting the support from others. We cannot be successful by ourselves. And this is one of the key elements that I see missing in coaches. First, coaches don't get coaching for themselves. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand if you have a coach, but if you don't have a coach, highly recommend that you work with somebody, because we cannot be effective as coaches if we don't have somebody that is working with us, where we can think, where we can work with our challenges, where we can think together. So it's very important for our coaches to have your coach. And secondly, in terms of marketing, we cannot do it by ourselves. We need support, we need colleagues, we need community, we need other people. So my idea today is, even though everybody here is at a different place, we are going to finish the day with mastermind groups. And the idea is to form mastermind groups with people who are going to be your cheerleaders and who are going to be supporting you in accomplishing your goals. How do you like the idea? Yes. You like the idea? Yes. So not everybody has to participate. Maybe you're already very successful, you already have your plan, you already have your support. Maybe you're here because you're my friend, so thank you for that. So I will not ask you to be doing anything you don't want to, but I think that the only way to be successful is knowing how to ask for help, and knowing how to be in community, and knowing how to support others, just working together. About you, so people get to know you at your tables, and then we are going to do a series of exercises during the evening. So let's start with the introduction. Just let's take 1 minute each to talk about yourself. So now that you know each other, let's start exploring the foundation when we're going to be working in developing our business. With a coach-like approach would be to see, okay, this is where we are, this is where we want to go, and what's in the way. Now, many times where we want to go is not so clear. So how many people here are you clear about where you want to go? You're very clear. What is it for you? How many are very clear? Okay. Yeah, as you can see, not so many people. So that's a good question, is where you want to go and what is next. And sometimes that changes. But for me, at the beginning, my target, my ideal client were Latino immigrants. I did work in Spanish for a few years. I did coaching, personal growth workshops. I worked with my brother who came from Argentina to work with me. We had a lot of fun working together. And then at one point I said, I need to move on. I need to change my niche. I want to do something else. So I started focusing on working. And it's interesting because in that case, I didn't look for the niche looked for me. This is what was Deborah talking before, that her niche, well, and I know Deborah were friends, so I know that her niche is working with nurses and healthcare, and suddenly all of these leaders from her community started asking her to coach, to get coaching from her. So in my case, I was called to work for UN agencies. So I started coaching a lot of people from all over the world from different UN agencies. And that really opened me like a completely different ideal client. And I was working now with my clients who are not only the people from this agency, but these agencies to hire me. So many times our ideal client is not a person, but it's an organization or a group. And now, so then you will see, I will share with you briefly about my branding. It was all about global coaching, how I can provide global solutions, global perspectives to managers. So then my goal was how I can work with clients who work virtually and globally and need somebody to support them in working with people from all over the world. So for a while that was my niche. And now I am changing again. It's time for me to move on. So niches may change over time. So in terms of the next exercise, what I would like you to think is, you may not be sure yet where you're going, and that can be a journey, and it is a journey. And we can be in different places in the journey. The question is, what is in the way? And first, what are your beliefs about yourself? Remember what I said before, interesting, I forgot the most important one, believing in myself, but didn't come up. So there is a part that there is always not 100% here. So the question for you is, do you believe in yourself, and what can be in your way to be a very successful coach? And you can be different kind of coaching, we'll talk about that later. But my first question to you is, what may be in your way? What can be your ideas, your beliefs? What can be there to challenge you in your journey? I want you for a minute to think what could be for you. And maybe something from the past, or some experience that you have with salespeople, or some of your judgment that you have about people selling. Many people, when they think about selling, they think about people who are selling cars, or they have negative connotations about the whole selling process. So I want you for a minute to think, for you, when you think about selling, or about offering a service, what come up for you, and what can be in your way? What can be some beliefs that can be in your way? For me, at one point, was about, I don't like selling. I don't like service. I don't like to do that. But I have some news for you. Good news and bad news. So the bad news, where should I start? Bad news. Bad news. The bad news are that you can be an extraordinary coach. But if nobody finds you, it's a problem. Make sense? That are the bad news. The good news is that you can do something about it. And what you can do is about looking at strategies, getting support, and you can take action so people can find you. What people don't know when they start coaching training is that they also need to learn to develop their marketing skills. Like we go through coaching training and we think it's enough, and that's a problem. When we were in Atlanta, some of the participants, the leaders from all over the world, requested the board of directors to make mandatory for coaching schools to train people on marketing. And it's a little bit controversial because I think that should depend on whatever the school wants to do. But if the school wants to be well positioned, they should be doing that. And we're talking with the leader at the center, we're starting a program, and I said we're going to be including that in the future because we want to be sure that people are successful when they finish the program. So it's not only about coaching skills, but also about marketing skills. It's about once that you have your skills, what are you going to do? And people don't know that when they start coaching training. And so we need to invest. As you invested money in your coaching training, you need to invest some money in your marketing skills, in learning how a website works. So for me, working with, I was talking with Beverly, and she was telling me that she was having a problem with the website, says people working. Well, in my coaching programs, for a few years, people will hear me talking about, I will get coaching from my students about dealing with people who were working with my website. Till one day I realized that I could learn how to do it myself. So I just took a class at the Los Angeles Public Library, a free class, you don't have even to pay, about how to work with WordPress. And teach you what you need to know to have like a basic website and enter information without having to be paying somebody to do it.
Where did you get that course?
Through the Los Angeles Public Library. Los Angeles Public Library in Los Angeles County, because there is Los Angeles City, Los Angeles County. So Los Angeles County has a lot of different programs that are for free. One is on WordPress, about how to deal with, how to work with your website. Okay, so going back to your beliefs. I want you to discuss at your table. We don't have time. We can spend the whole evening about this. We are not going to be able to do that. We're going to spend only 5 minutes. But I want you to spend 5 minutes talking at your table. Go around the table. Let's get 1 minute each again to talk about what do you think can be some limiting beliefs that can be in your way for you to be successful. For example, limiting beliefs can be, I don't like to do that, I am not good at it, that kind of thing. Whatever can be there, that can be your way. Once that you're aware, you may decide what you will do with that. But for now, the first step is being aware of what are the beliefs that you have about selling your services and being an offer for your clients that can be your way to be successful in building your practice. So let's spend 5 minutes. Let's go around the room. Let's have 1 minute each at your table to share. What do you think can be limiting beliefs to be an offer for your clients? We need to move on because we have a lot to cover. And I know that not maybe everybody had time to finish, but briefly, I think that the first step is to be aware of what they are, and maybe they require more time. As I said, we can spend 2 hours talking about this. But the first step is to be aware of what can be your way. And marketing requires effort and requires work. There is not any way around it. So if you want to be successful, you need to spend time and you need to invest time in doing this. Some people like it. I didn't like it at the beginning. When you become good at something, there are more chances that you like it better. Like at the beginning, I struggled with it. I didn't want to know anything about Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube. And now I find myself, I like exercising. I don't know how many of you love exercising. Anybody? I love exercising, but that wasn't the case 20 years ago. I hated it. I hated it, till one point I start enjoying it. And now I can't live with it. And I have a metaphor, like I was going to Weight Watchers, and I lost a lot of weight, and I gained it back, but I lost a lot of weight. And when I was going, and I was doing the diet, like I was going to the meetings, and then I was doing the diet, and then I was losing the weight. And everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people next to me, they were going to the meetings, and they didn't do the diet, but they expected when they would come back that the balance would be different. So there was a hope that would happen. And there is always some elements that have to do with physics, with medical issues. There are many factors, it's not only will. But many times, not always, many cases there were conditions that people could not control, but many times my learning was that people would go expecting that just for going to the meeting they would lose the weight. Are you following me? So just for sitting in the chair and learning what people are saying, that would be enough to go and lose and lose the weight. And the work has to be done after the meeting, not during the meeting. In the meeting we learn what we need to do. But in coaching many times it doesn't work. In coaching you work with people and then people go after the session and do and have their lives and apply whatever they learn in coaching. And if they have not done that, you can have a great session, it can be great insightful, and they can be in love with you, but if they did not transformation, if they did not work, if they did not results, it's similar. So here is the same thing. There is not, the bad news is that if you want to be successful, you need to work. You need to work not only in building yourself as a coach, and we need to keep learning all the time. Even the MCC here, we all the time keep learning, growing, going to workshops. Getting an MCC doesn't mean that you stop learning. We all keep learning forever. And my role model is my father, who he went through coaching training at his 70s. Any secrets about that? You need to do the work. So let's talk briefly about branding. Branding, many times it's misunderstood. There is a guru in personal branding that is called William Arruda. Now, William Arruda has been a volunteer and participating with ICF, helping us with the branding from ICF, getting all of the colors and all of what you can see there, plus a lot of other work that he has done with us to help us with the branding for ICF as an organization. He also volunteered and he has facilitated the whole program on building your practice. As I shared with you before, I highly recommend that you get it. So he has, based on his presentation, you can download it. It's also for free from last year. You can also listen to his session available on our website for free from last year. And he defined branding and the unique promise of value. In which ways you are unique about the value that you're offering. So it's about knowing in which ways you are authentic, you are genuine, in knowing who you are, and asking yourself in which ways I am unique, in which ways I am different, in which ones, what do I need to uncover of myself to be able to provide the services to my clients, what are my personal values, my goals, my strengths, my passions, my experiences. How all of these key elements play for me to service my clients. And it's important not only how do you see yourself, but how others see you. So for example, in terms of branding, for me, I chose to focus on global and being a global citizen. So everything that is around my branding is about the world. So my logo has a globe, my pictures in my website, I will show it to you in a minute, have a background of the world, so I'm consistent in all of the social media. I have the same message, so the message, the way that I want to be recognized is as somebody who is a global citizen. And what helped me to identify and choose this was an instrument that I used at that time from him called 360 Reach. Any of you have done 360 Reach? Okay, a couple of people. He offered that during the program. So I called William and said, can I offer this to the participants of this program? And he said, yes. I will make this available to all of the participants. The cost of this instrument is $50. So that means that if you go and you get it, you came for free here tonight. And basically, of course, he has his own company of branding and he's marketing himself. When you get information, you may get into his mailing list and you may opt not to be in his mailing list. But it's a really great instrument. Basically what he offered a platform for you to get 360 feedback. And you choose your clients, your colleagues, your friends, everybody to give you feedback about how they see you. It's called 360 Reach. This is the link, bit.ly/360new. And the code is ICF-LA. He just gave that to me yesterday, and it's valid, expires March 31st. Don't miss this opportunity. It's an extra value for you. It's a really great way to get to know how other people perceive you and give you information so you can contrast. Like when I did it, and I got, you have to send it to many people so you get some. So I think I sent it to like 70 people. And from the 70 people, 50 responded. So I think that's a pretty accurate measure of how they see me, like a world citizen, a connector, a mover, and an optimist. So my friends can recognize me there, and people know me, can see how, oh yeah, there. So this helps me to be an offer for others. So my suggestion is don't miss this opportunity. And many times branding sessions can take a whole day when you go through a branding session. Here is not the goal. Here the goal is for you to understand that you need to clarify, you need to understand who you are before you start offering any service. Are you with me here?
Yeah.
So the invitation is for you to do some work on that, and maybe you want to work with colleagues here later. We're going to have mastermind groups, or you want to work with your coach, or take a class, but it's important you come up with your branding. The second part related to branding is niche. Okay, by the way, everybody wrote this down? Everybody has this information?
Yes.
Okay, so don't miss the opportunity to get this feedback. Niche. You talked before, what's great what you shared about the niche, because people have different opinions about niche. Maybe when you're starting, sometimes it's difficult to know exactly what you want to do, but many people consider that the only way to be really successful is to have a niche. So for some people, like in my case, I did have a niche. I worked with Latino immigrants at one point. Then I worked with global managers. Now I think I am moving. The niche that looked for me was to coach, to train coaches. Like I started with a program at the Center for Nonprofit Management 5 years ago. I was a volunteer there for many years. And by the way, many times you need to volunteer and be involved and do a lot of volunteer work till you get an opportunity to work. Like I have been a volunteer for the Center for Nonprofit Management in LA for 20 years. And in the last 5 years, I got this opportunity to provide the coaching training. And then now that I have this coaching training approved by the ICF, I got the opportunity to offer it in other places. And I am offering at USC, I offer it at Kaiser Permanente, now at the program in Brazil. Now I have an opportunity for the UN to be offering my coaching training, but it's really exciting. So you never know. And this is, the need came to me, I was not looking for it. And I didn't even know if I would like it. And I found that I love it. That it's really, it worked out well. So what is your ideal client? Based on the work, based on who you are, and based on your experiences, who do you think is your ideal client? Do you know who is your ideal client? Who has examples of your ideal client?
International students, because I've worked with international students for 15
Let me sure that everybody hear you. Look at the microphone.
Oh, I was going to say that for me it would be international students, because I've worked with that population for about 17 years. So I feel that that would be a good population for me to work with.
Yeah. Okay, so that can be your ideal client, that can be your niche. Do you want to stand up or?
Young adults, high school, college students who are looking for who they are and how that translates into their transition into becoming adults.
Okay, great, thank you. Anybody else? What you shared before, that was great. There? Yeah.
Content experts who want to become teachers.
Okay.
I'm still defining mine, but it would be successful high achievers who are looking for fulfillment and people that are in transition. Once they were successful, they lost their jobs and they want to find a new job.
Okay. Okay, so the more specific, the better. I am not a marketing expert or a niche expert, but what I learned through my personal experience and so preparing here today is that the question that you may ask yourself about niche is, who is your ideal client and what are the problems and challenges? And you need to understand what are the problems and challenges. I was having a conversation with Jeff, we were talking about that, and we were talking about website, and he said, before you do any website, you need to know who you are and who are your clients. So many times people rush to do a website without being clear about who you are, what is your branding, what you have to offer, and who are your ideal clients. So it's important to clarify what are the problems, what are the challenges. And there is another session in the series from ICF about niche, and the presenter talked about 4 different kinds of niches. Niches around businesses, around money, around relationship and dating, and around health and fitness. Are like 4 key possibilities to look at, and there are some that may be not falling in any of these. But most of the time when we're looking at our niche, we may be looking at one of these 4 areas. We're looking at like working in business, managers, things about how to be more effective, issues around money, coaching, around health and fitness, or relationships and dating. And the key issue here is what are the solutions that you have to offer? So many times when we present ourselves and we talk about coaching, as somebody said before, we're trying to explain people what is coaching. And it's much more effective, particularly talking with our ideal clients, is understand what are their problems, what are their challenges, and what solutions we may offer for them. So it's much more effective talking about solutions than talking about benefits. And this is one distinction that we're talking about ICF a lot. It's not about the benefits of coaching, but what is the value. It's different. One thing is the benefits. It's like we think, okay, I need to talk about a list of things about what are all of the benefits that they will have working with me, instead of talking about the value in terms of what are your challenges, what are the solutions that I can offer you. And to be able to do that, you need to understand your niche, and you need to understand in your case, for example, with divorced women, you need to understand what is the problem, what are the challenges, and then provide some solutions. And people will say, yes, this is exactly what I want to work with you. I want you to discuss at your tables briefly, and you all can be many different places about this, and we can also spend 2 hours or a whole day talking about what is your ideal niche. But let's go around your table and let's say, what do you think is your niche, or what do you think could be your niche? And basically the idea is, your ideal client is people who you want to focus because you have the experience, you have the knowledge, you have the passion, you are interested in working with them, you may be part of that community, you have something to offer. And the most specific that group is, the most effective you will be in working with them. Because the more clear you will be in terms of what is the solution that you have to offer them. And what we need to let go is the idea that we're limiting ourselves. And many times we think about niche and we think, oh, we're limiting ourselves. If I just have a niche, I'm limiting myself. But the idea is sort of the contrary. If you are going to be much more effective, you are very clear about what you need because you work and focus your energy and your attention in them. Okay? So let's have a discussion at your tables. Again, it's only 1 minute each. Not a lot, but at least to have a conversation going on. So Judy, do we have a microphone there? Do we have a microphone? So we can give it to them briefly. How do you explain in 1 minute, enrollment? What is enrollment?
Enrollment is about connecting with people and relating to them such that they get that you are in their space. And it's about being with them in that space by listening to them and about what really matters to them so that they feel heard and that there's nothing more that needs to be said.
Thank you. Thank you. So the idea of this distinction of enrollment is that when you are sharing who you are as an offer for your clients, what you are doing is not talking but listening. What a coach-like possibility. You know, it's about just listening. So we think, oh, we have to be great about explaining what we do, and the key, I would say secret, and we know that in sales, people who are great salespeople are the ones who listen and use the information to connect what are the needs of the clients and what you have to offer.
Just one thought that came up for me. It's really about being able to listen from your heart at that moment.
So let me that to be sure that you're right.
Okay. The thought that came up for me that's precious to me is listening from your heart.
Yeah. So not only always listening from your mind and look from the logical, but also from your heart and being genuinely interested. Because you cannot fake it. You are genuine, or people get it when you're not.
Yeah, I think from Lamar also they talk about listening to somebody's possibility. So when they're talking about all their problems and everything, you're still a stand for their possibility. And how you're listening to them leaves them touched, moved, and inspired. So they're really excited about that possibility. So they get reconnected to really, like, they get out of their situation and they're messed and they're like, oh my God, somebody actually is connected to what I am really trying to get to. Rather than you trying to fix them or something else. You're just listening to them so well. I don't know, explain it.
You did a good job. You did a great job. Thank you. So it's about possibility. You wrote the word possibility. It's about listening for possibilities. And many times people don't see possibilities in their lives, and coaching can provide that. Through conversation, and through discussion, through listening and questions and creating awareness, we can create possibilities that were not there at the beginning. And how that happens in coaching also happens in enrolling people. So they can see possibility for themselves that they are not seeing. So when we are talking and we are presenting what we do, who we are, and what they want and what they need, this enrollment conversation makes a big difference, and about who we are being. So it's not all of the things that we are doing, but who we are being in this listening when we're having conversations. I love, Jason, your example about meeting your client in the plane. I love that story. You know, because you never know when you will meet a possible client, and that requires to be present. Okay, well, another good coaching skill.
Try to get one on the train next time.
Okay, let's move on. Once that we know our branding, once we know who we are, what we have to offer, once that we know what are our clients and what are our their clients, what is our need, then we need to start communicating that. And many times people jump to communicate without having that clarity about who we are and what are our clients. So once that we have that in place, then we go to our website. And what I was doing is, when I had to develop a new one 4 years ago, the person who designed my website, he said, where can I go to see websites? And I said, let's go to ICF Los Angeles chapter and let's see the website of all of my colleagues. Anybody have done that? It's a great place to learn from your colleagues, to learn what the people who are here, and to see ideas. You don't want to copy anything, but you want to get the sense of how other people are servicing and are being offered for the world. So I'm going to share with you very fast 3 or 4 websites. I have permission for people to show them. And anyway, they're public. You know, it's not. Let's see if this help me. Okay, so who do you know who is here? I love the Elias website, but what I really love, one key element of a website is the video where you present yourself. So we go to the home page here. This is her whole website start, with that video of introduction. What is key here in your website is that you use the language of your clients, of your ideal client. So it's not about you and what you have to offer, but it's about what your client wants to listen, what they want to hear from you. So the key element in writing your website is the target audience. Who are your ideal clients and write it for them? So you want to use their language. You want to talk about their problems. You want to talk about solutions for them. So this is how you want to focus on. So here, for example, we have she talked about herself, and events, future events, what are the services she offers, newsroom. So for example, here is mine. As I told you, we have the global background. Then the 4 key services, training, coaching, speaking, insights, this is what I do. Then I have a space for people to reach me. Blog, and I am not a good example of blogging. I think I should be doing it more than what I do it. But blogging is one way also to be in communication with your possible clients. So here, as you can see, building a coaching culture, international eye, developing a global mindset. These are all things with the same theme of working with managers, helping them to be effective working globally. So you want to write blogs, you want to focus on what is your ideal client and what are the topics that they are interested in. And then videos. And videos is the newest trend. I don't know if it's so new, but in the future. It's like you all want to have videos in your website, you want to have your YouTube channel, and the most videos that you can be doing and producing, the better. So I think that social media can work as a way of giving visibility, but maybe to close the deals, you need something else. That's not enough. So social media can give you visibility, but then you need that personal contact, that relationship building, so that you can close the business with your clients. So I spend time in social media. I learned to like it, to enjoy it, so it's enjoyable, it's not like. And what, for me, personally, what I love is to share some cool stuff with my colleagues or with my friends. So I'm all the time waiting for interesting materials or interesting things that I can share with other people. And I'm all the time paying attention to how I can learn from others. So it's a way of socializing, learning, and collaborating, and supporting people, and inspiring people. So I use it that way. Also as a way to be visible, and I travel for work, and I may meet people and say, oh, you were here, you were there, I follow you through Facebook, or I follow you through LinkedIn. So professionally, you have to choose one of the social media, you have to choose one, I will choose LinkedIn. How many of you here have LinkedIn pages? Okay, as you see, everybody, if you don't have a LinkedIn page, you need to have one. Okay, at least one place where people will find you. And what is key in your LinkedIn page, and there is a whole session about how to have a great LinkedIn page. from the new program, the one that I told you from ICF, but also I found out in 2010, there was a free class that you can download. The requirement here, you have to be a member of ICF to get to the website. But once you get into the website, in 2010, there are 3 sessions, one on LinkedIn, one on Facebook, and one on Twitter. With the person explaining everything you need to know as a coach about these 3 different social media outlets. And in terms of LinkedIn, what is key is how is your summary, how is your profile. So the key issue, and by the way, if you do a Google, have you Googled yourself? Have you seen that what come up first? Let's look. If I Google myself, what come up? Interesting, 6,000 results. What is good, because in this case they are all me, because many times you may have a name that other people have too. So you may have a lot of people that they say not belong to you, belong to somebody else who have these results. So then you can see here, first come my website, then my keynote speaker website, and then the third one is LinkedIn. So if you do a search on yourself, I promise that your LinkedIn will come first, and there is a chance that people will go there before your website. So when you go to your LinkedIn website, you want to be sure. I don't want this. Keep asking me something. You want to be sure here in the when you talk, and this is coming to I don't know why I mean the editing one because it recommends me. So basically, in the way that you present yourself, there I just talk about my positions: executive coach, coach supervisor, global leadership development expert, keynote speaker. It can be more catchy. It can be more in a way that you bring more attention from your ideal client. So maybe instead of just saying what you do, you may offer a solution in here in this space. The other piece here later in your summary, here you can put your videos also as part of your summaries. And I don't here why it's coming up for editing instead of just coming for the home regular one. Okay, so here, your summary. In your summary in LinkedIn, when you do your profile, you want to be sure that you present what is the more relevant. You want to talk about your experience, you want to talk about your certificates, you may want to add a video. You want to ask you may require people to give you testimonials, so that's a possibility. You also want to have testimonials in your LinkedIn, Facebook, in your LinkedIn. And also a very key part is groups. Take advantage of the groups. Go to different groups so you can interact and get to know other people and to have interactions. And then you may decide how often do you publish, how often do you share information or articles or different information that you want to share with people. So these are key elements, and if you have to choose one of the social media outlets, just start with LinkedIn. I think probably the most important for you. Yes, Jason?
Damian, by testimonials, do you mean recommendations?
Yeah, recommendations. Yeah, so you may ask for recommendations to people. Yeah.
Just to comment on the title at the top above your summary, that's what people search on. So those words that you have in that summary, that's how people will find you when they do a LinkedIn search. That's the only thing this the site looks at.
Okay. So that's a good idea. What they have there, I am in the right track.
Yeah. So if you want to be found for executive coach, coach supervisor, those are the things that people will search. When they search for those terms, you'll pop up.
Great. So this is that's so important to pay attention to that section. Okay. Thank you.
It also looks at your endorsement section, so your skills that you put forward.
Okay. So here we have recommendations, and then here we have endorsements for top skills. So that's important too. Like when you do it to people, you have more opportunity for people to give it to you too. So the endorsements are also part of your profile. And then you can see the groups here, the education, to see what are the groups. These are more testimonials, and some of the groups. So I think there is an ICF Los Angeles group that maybe you want to be part of. Great. Okay, so I have been talking about that for a long time. Briefly, I want to in LinkedIn, you want to pay attention to your profile, to the postings, to the groups, participate in groups. I have at this time, I work with 5 different ones. I work with Facebook, in the fans page, in LinkedIn, Google+, Twitter, and YouTube. And for some people that is a lot, but there are people who even use other ones and are very active in Pinterest, Instagram, for picture. There are many others now. So these are the basic ones. Something else that I want to talk briefly is about books and videos. Like I think that you may want to consider once that you have your niche. At one point, I came out with this book that I wrote with my mother like in 2010. And it was about coaching skills, about the ICF core competency model in Spanish to help people to develop coaching skills. And this book now is very well sold in Latin America and Spanish in many countries to train coaches. So that was something that I thought that would make a difference. There was a niche for a while when I was mentor coaching. So you need to look, once that you have your niche, it's a very good idea to write the book. You were sharing with me in our way here walking that you have a new book or you're working on a new book now.
I have the book out already, which is The Lawyer's Guide to Professional Coaching, which was published by the American Bar Association. Lawyers by and large don't understand what coaching is and how they can benefit from it. It's interesting to read from the coach's perspective as well. And then I'm working on another book. I'm under contract, Lawyers as Managers, Developing, Supervising, and Motivating People in Your Law Firm.
Thank you. So you may want to consider also writing a book, and you can self-publish yourself. Nowadays it's very easy, and even you can write a book that is an e-book that can be available. So that can be, if you're interested in that, that can be a really interesting way for people to get to find you and know you. So that's a possibility. Also, being creative. Like last year, what I did is I had a radio talk show. Anybody had listened to my talk show last year, like the radio program? We had some people who were guest speakers in the program. The guest speakers. So basically what I did last year, every week, I interviewed a colleague, and it was a radio program with a different topic, and there are podcasts, they're available. There are 50, 30 in English, 20 in Spanish. So if you want to listen to the podcast, you look in podcasts. Pasos means steps. P-A-S-O-S, Pasos is the name of the podcast, and you can also listen to wonderful colleagues, some of them who are here, talking about different issues. And I decided this year to change. Instead of doing the radio program, I would do podcasts on video. So I'm going to do interviews, shorter interviews that I'm going to publish in YouTube. So there is something that we need to do that can be a service to the community, because these interviews are really interesting and provide material and content and something of value to people. And it's a way also to be involved and engaged, and you never know. For example, one interview that I interviewed Magda Mook, the CEO of ICF, 6,500 people listened to that interview. So you never know how something that you do can have a bigger impact in the community. The last thing that I want to talk about video is that nowadays there are different ways and different things that can be done. And I want you to consider if that's something that interests you, to learn how to do your own videos. You have Apple's computer, it's very easy. In PCs maybe too, I'm not as familiar, I have not had one for a long time. But with the Apple material, it's so easy to do videos. From your telephone, iPad, or even your computer, using the software, you can also have that. You can talk, you can interview people, and you can also use that to share some value to other people in terms of content that can be of value for others. So we can be talking about that for a while, but I want to just wrap up because we have a minute. So what I'd like to ask you is, in the last 5 minutes, to talk at your table, and everyone to come up with something that you want to do as a result of this session. An idea, something that came up for you, or something that you would like to do, and exchange cards with that table, and decide if you want to, and decide if you want to meet again and work each other and support each other in accomplishing these goals. Maybe the people in your team are not the right people to do this. Maybe you want to develop your own mastermind group with people working with you and supporting each other to accomplish that. So my invitation is to exchange cards at your table, to invite people in the table if they are willing or interested in being a mastermind group, to work together and keep the communication going. And if that's not the case in your table, I suggest that you do look for that somewhere else. So let's play the last 5 minutes. Let's go around the room, the group, at your table, and everyone share something, one thing that you will do as a result of the session today. What will be your plan? Okay, let's finish with that, and then I will finish with the story. before we go, somebody would like to share what would you do as a result of the session today? Yeah.
I think something that was very valuable was a 360 review, like knowing who I am, and then also sending like a survey out to people that I want to target, figuring out the problems, getting a real good sense of their problems and challenges. If I know who I am and who I'm trying to help, I think that really allows me to move forward in my situation.
Great.
Yeah.
Anybody else? A couple of volunteers. What would you do as a result of this session?
One of the things I'm going to do for myself, because it's about taking care of me too, and you're always busy and life gets in the way, so what I said was I'm going to commit to scheduling time in my schedule. Like I'm going to schedule an hour on the weekend or 2 hours to address some of these things, like update my LinkedIn, which is so outdated, and all this shit, and visit the ICF website, read up on articles, look at other people's web pages, so all these things that I want to be doing for myself, there's never any time, so I'm going to schedule time to then start doing these things, the 360 and everything else.
Anybody else? One volunteer there in the back?
My takeaway would be marketing is like exercising, so as the way you go to the gym, that's the way you market yourself, so that's a big takeaway.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to step into the thing, and there's a reality TV show that I've been invited to be a part of, and I'm going to extend an invitation to the people at my table to be a part of that show and talk about life coaching to reach out to more people. Yeah. All right. And thank you. And could you please rewind all the way back so that we can take a picture of how we can get access to your PowerPoint, please?
Yes, I will do that
Thank
in
you.
a minute. And a couple of things before we go. If you have any services or anything that you want to invite people, there is a table in the back where you can find resources. So it's a resources table. So if there is any service that you offer or anything that you want to share with people, you can do that. Here are my cards. If you want my card, if you want to be in communication with me, I invite you to be in connection LinkedIn if you are not yet. I want to invite you to be in communication in that way. I want to finish with a story. I want to share a story. Something happened to me when I was in the board in 2009. I said, Keith, I want to share a story about when I was in the board. And when I was working, I was in charge of coming up with these events. Because the year before, sometimes I was not very happy with events. So I thought, okay, if I come and I help, we can bring great speakers to the event. And I know it's a lot of work. So I was working with a colleague, and we were not communicating well. So I was kind of frustrated. She was supposed to do things and she was not doing what she was supposed to do. And this is all volunteer work. So I got tired and I called Keith. And I said, Keith, I'm calling to resign. I am resigning from the board of ICF. Do you remember that? You don't remember? I do remember that. I do remember that because Keith didn't let me. So I called Keith to resign. I said, okay, I don't want to be in this board anymore. I am tired. I've been working with a person. She's not doing her job. And you were very coach-like. And you coached me. And you said, okay, what do you need for this to work for you? So and here I am. And at the end of the conversation, he enrolled me to stay in the board, and I stay in the board. And if I would have left the board, I would have never been ICF chair. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you, but I want to bring this as a story that many times we feel like giving up. Like we feel like things are not working. We're doing so much work, we're doing so much in terms of getting to people, and things are not working the way that we want, and we need to learn also to deal with rejection. We didn't even get to talk about that. That's another issue, how we embrace rejection when people don't want to get our services. That can be another session for another dealing with rejection. But I want to share this story to finish because there are many times that you may feel that way, that you want to give up. So remember the story and don't do it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
How was this evening for everybody? Thank you so much for